So let's see what we've got. We've got, that's going to be the middle. So let's go with that, that, and that. So that will be there, like so. And then this one will be there, like that. Now don't worry, we will decorate the rest of it, but I'm going to join them up now so that you can see how that's done. Leslie used some gauze, and really you can use whatever you like. In this one you can see I had some fabric left over that I made a dress out of a while ago, and this is actually like a linen, but it's a really light linen, and I've left the tails on it because I don't know how I want to finish it off at this point. So when in doubt, leave it and you can get back to it. So yep, so that's that. But for this one I've dragged out like a piece of calico, so let's get it stuck down. Now when sticking fabric, I like to use this stuff, and this is, I get this from Spotlight. I don't use my glue sticks, they just don't hold. In this one I've got glitter glue, which I haven't got the bottle here to show you. I can grab it and show it to you, but for fabrics I like to use that one, and I use this one a lot in my journals too for the paper, which you can get at Bunnings, which is, it's really quite cheap. So that's a good glue, and that holds for a long time. So yeah, I'm using that one. I know in America they use Fabri-Tac, but we don't actually have that in Australia. I don't think, I haven't found it anyway. So I'm going to cut myself off a piece of this, and I'm going to cut it in half because it's a bit thick. Don't want to cover up too much of my creative artwork, but I want enough so that there's enough for it to grab. I just finished telling you how good these scissors are, and it's not cutting. It's because of the way I'm holding it, not because of the scissors themselves. Sometimes it's a bit tricky for me to get a good grip on the scissors, but we're making it work. I'm about making it work. My motto is I can do just about anything. Sometimes it just takes a bit longer. Alright, so let's get these bad boys glued together. So I'm going to position that, make sure I've got them how they're supposed to be. Hang on, getting myself confused. Okay, so that's the front and that's the next one. So they need to be glued like so. So what I'm going to do, and this is what I did last night, is I'm just going to run a bit of glue down here first of all. Why isn't that coming out? Probably because I left the lid off it yesterday. Alright. Yeah, I've got it, nope, still not coming out. I've got a completely different setup than what I normally have, so I'm hoping that the audio is going to be alright. Normally, as I say, I have my camera and I've got like an external speaker, but I was planning on plugging that into my phone, but there's no porthole for me to stick it into, so that kind of killed that idea. I did do a little test to make sure that you could hear me alright, so once I run it through my editing program, I think I'll be able to adjust the volume just slightly and we should be in business. So because this is the decorated side, and see I've cut it and there's a rough side. I like the rough side, so I'm going to stick that so that it's sticking outwards there, just covering those bits. Just make sure it's all out how I want it, and I'm just going to flip it over and make sure I'm getting them nice, and that's not quite as close as I would like. There we go. Just touching, because this strip of fabric we're going to use to sew our papers into the book. So we want it to be nicely glued down and sitting in a good position. I'm just going to run a bit more glue along that edge there. Make sure I've got everything. You do go through a bit of glue when you're scrapbooking, FYI. I can't tell you how many tubes of this stuff I've bought, and I went to Spotlight on the weekend to buy some beautiful bits of lace, which I'm really happy with, and I saw they had 30% off the glue, so I actually grabbed 2 of those. Alright, so that's there, and I might even, I'm just going to put a little bit more glue there, and just so that it grabs nicely, I'm going to use, I'll just grab them, I won't be a second. I'm going to grab a couple of those, and just till the glue has got a good grip, I'm just going to put those on there to get them to hold. I'll just put a little bit more in there. It's never enough glue. I don't want things to come undone. I mean, who does? Nobody wants things to come undone. Alright, let's pin that. Well, it'll only take a second to grab because that glue dries really fast, and I'll get the next bit ready. So this bit, I've got to make sure I get this right. That bit goes, that's going to glue on that way. So that's going to glue here. I hope that's making sense to you. But if you just do what I've just did and visualize it out, it'll help you make sure you get it in the right place. Like I said, I've watched Leslie's video a couple of times to make sure I got the details right. Let me just make sure I've got that glue right up to the edge. Right to the edge. And on this one it doesn't really matter because we haven't decorated it. So what I'm going to do is glue that down on that side and just flip it over and make sure I've got them snugged up to each other and the correct height. Let me just take that off and have another bite at that. So that needs to be about there. Let me just double check. Yep. Whoops, no, I want it to be a bit closer. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Alright, let me see. Let me see. And what I'm not going to glue this bit down, so that if I want that ragged edge look, I can stick a piece of paper under there when I'm decorating it and then glue it down. But on this side, look at me, I've got bits of fabric stuck to my fingers and everything. I mean, standard when I'm in the craft room. I'm pretty excited because the printer that I got, and I've asked many of the scrapbooking people what printers they use, and what I've ended up going for is an Epsom. It is an eco tank, so much cheaper to run, and I went for I think it's the 4805. So it prints, you've got to be careful with some of those. After doing a bit of research, I realised that some of them don't do double-sided printing. So if you want to print something like, what have I got here? Okay, this. I bought these the other day from Etsy, and the lady offers you, like, she gives you the second print so that you can print on the back, so that when you cut them out, they've actually got a back and a front. So I wanted to make sure that the printer had that. When I do the details in this little journal, I'm going to use those, so I'll show you what my plans are with those. So anyway, yes, so we've got that all together, and I'm just going to put that to one side while I get the signatures ready. So after watching, this is a signature, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of paper in there, and that's kind of the ballpark where you want to be heading, and you can really just grab whatever you like and you just start folding them up. So I've got this I actually cut a little piece out of that because I wanted to put where did I put it somewhere. Where did I put it? I glued it to something. I wanted it for something, and I cut that out, so that's gone. But this is the sort of thing you can use. So you just have to fold it in half. Let's see what else I've got on my pile. I don't need that anymore. I've got a piece of, this is some paper that I coffee dyed, and when I'm coffee dyeing, I lay a plastic stencil on the top of it, and when I get them out and leave them on the bench, it leaves a little mark on the paper, which I like. So I'm just going to take that off there. Okay, I'll keep that piece. Put that piece to one side. So we've got that. Might just straighten that up a bit more actually. Let's take it down. Straighten that up. It's not very straight. There we go. I'll just take that little lumpy bit off. And really just start putting pages together. I don't want to, where's my book, so I can make sure I'm getting it about in the ballpark of the right height. So we want, got a piece of thread, where's that coming from? I just have to cut that off because it's going to get in my way. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to fold that up because we can turn that into a little pocket when I put the journal together. I'm not worried about that piece cut out because I'll make that work. And get back in frame here. Fold that over. There we go. And at this point I don't care if they stick out the top a bit too much because we can trim that off when we're ready. So that'll be one page. Just check the width on that. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're sticking out a little bit, but you don't want them, that's probably a bit too much, so we will have to pull a little bit off that. I don't like to, these old pages, don't like to take too much off them. I want to use as much of them as I can. If you're into it, and I haven't actually tried it yet, but now that Leslie's mentioned it, I might have to. She keeps all these little scraps, and she's going to make some of her own paper. So when it gets a bit closer to the time, because Mill's as I said, Mill's coming in August, and Mill loves doing all that sort of stuff, don't you, Mill? So we might have a go at making some paper. See, I'll start collecting it a bit closer to the time. See, that's sticking out ever so slightly. That doesn't bother me. I'm happy with that. I don't care. Don't care about that. Let's put this piece, and we can use this as a guide now. So what I might do is, I want to be able to see that flower. So I'll do it like that, and then fold this piece in about there, and we can use that like a flip later on, which I'll show you when we're decorating it. So that's another page. What else have I got here? I've got a bag. This is a bag that I got from Lucello's, which is a lovely vintage haberdashery shop in Australia here, and she packages things so beautifully. But I thought I might use that. Should I open it up? I'm trying to just, I might open that up. So yeah, you can use, I mean, anything goes. I actually had it to one side here. I literally just got a parcel this morning, and this was all stuffed in the parcel, and so I've kept it, because I don't know if you guys know, I did not know this. I saw it on YouTube. You learn everything off YouTube. Let me just move that out of the way. But if you get these, they're actually already perforated. They've got little perforated sections, and you can just pull them apart. And I pull them apart and I iron them, and you can use them like that. But I don't think we won't use that one today. I'm going to use this guy instead. And I don't want too much brown, but I want a little bit of difference in paper going on. So I'm going to cut this bag open like so. Stuck to me. And I probably should have cut on that side rather than that side, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. Got some nice numbers on that side, and you can see Lucello's name there, so that's all right. We'll go with it. So if that's the middle, we can go like that, and then fold these, because I don't want to cut this bag up. So I'm just going to fold those edges in a bit like that. So there's that one, and that one. Alright, see, this one's a bit shorter as well, so that's okay. Actually, I might put that one like that. Let's put that one there. And what about a nice piece of coloured paper? What have we got in this pile? Not that. That's quite nice, isn't it? Maybe we could use a bit of that action. Do I want it to go that way or that way? I think I'll go for that. There's my ruler. There. Trying to keep track of my ruler. Or maybe I'll go for that a bit more. Yeah, I might go for that piece there instead. So we'll take it along there. And this is going to be a narrower piece, so we'll take that along there. Can go in the bin. I'm just going to take those white bits off the end. Am I in frame? I'm out of my washi tape section. There we go, take that bit off. I like using this ruler because you can see through it, so you can make sure that everything's how you want it to be. Let's take that piece off if I can get a hold of it. And next I'm going to fold these in half. Yeah, I'm hoping this video is not going to be too boring for you guys. This is actually how I roll in my craft room, less the verbal banter, of course. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? And where shall I put that? I want to be able to see that, so let's put that there. I want to see that. I don't want to. I might have to move that one to there. I have got a tiny little book page somewhere. I might throw that in. I'll just see if I can find it. Maybe I'll take the bottom off that, make it a bit lower, so that we can, I want to be able to see the layers. That's what I'm fiddling with at the moment. I like the flower. I like the flower. I want to see that that brown paper. I might move that down a bit. That goes in like so. And where's my, I've got a tiny little bit of book page here somewhere. I've got some music sheets as well that might be nice. Beautiful music sheets. I got, this is a name thing out of a Melways. That could be good. An old Melways, if you remember those from Victoria. I've also got this book, which has got speeches and toasts in it. Old speeches and toasts. But no, let me have a quick look here. Got some sheets. That's got some nice little flowers on it. Oh, what about this? Oh, there it is. There's the little piece, the Robert Browning paper. I might use a piece of, I want a nice piece for the middle. What have I got here? See, I got this out of a book that I don't like that picture. I don't think those little babies look cute at all, but I like this. So I would use that in a journal and then cover those pieces up, because I quite like the grids and the pattern. So I would fold that in half, and then when I'm decorating I would just collage over that section, because they aren't really very cute. Look at that picture I pulled out of one of my books. Isn't it nice? Can you see that? Oh, she's so cute. I've got a piece from an old dictionary here. Could use a piece of that. And a bit of poetry. I'm just showing you these to give you a bit of an idea. I pulled that picture as well. I like that. That's supposed to be Mary Poppins out of one of the books that I've got. Alright, let's see what we can do with these. That's the piece that I was looking for. So I think I would put that sideways. Let's put that in like that. And I can put that down a bit lower so I can still see my flowers. Things don't have to be lined up perfectly. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I need some more colour in here. What have we got here? And decisions, decisions, decisions. Maybe that would be nice. Let's have a look at that piece. Maybe just that. That's, I think maybe just this. A bit of a flower. Just for a little bit of colour. Let's see. Hold that over. Find my ruler. So what I'm doing here is making the signatures, the book pages, as we've discussed, and you need to make two of these signatures for your book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this one made, and then I'll go off and make the other one, and then I'll show it to you, and then we will work together and sew one of the signatures in, so that I'm not taking up too much of your valuable time. There we go. Does that match actually? Oh, I'm not sure if I like that now. I see those. See, that's got a bit more of a pinkish, and that's a bit more apricot. No, you're out. You're out. Sorry. Maybe I could put that one in. Too matchy. All the papers. What will I go for? Maybe. Nope. Yeah, look, things get messy. So I will go off and I will finish this signature and then come back and show it to you. And I will finish the second signature as well. And then I'll be back. Alright guys, I'll see you in a minute.
Swept by current, swallowed by a wave. Take heed, they'll say, no, no, no need to get out, just stay on a lovely holiday. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Together we're an island, only grains of sand. You and me make one if you're counting on my hand. Take heed, they'll say, no, no, no need to get out, just stay on a lovely holiday. Lovely holiday. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Didn't see it coming, but we hit the ground running. No time to publicize that we're not just funny. That we're not just funny. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Our love is easy lasting, holiday so easy passing. Just stay one lovely holiday. Just stay on a lovely holiday. Just stay on a lovely holiday. Just stay.
Okay, and I'm back and I've got my other signature done. So I've got two signatures in and I've made, and I've gone ahead and put the first signature in so that you can see how it looks when it's all in. So this is the signature, it's all attached in, and this is what I ended up with. Went with a little bit of a selection of prints, patterns, scripts. There's a little bit of poetry, an old dictionary page, and that I used that I showed you before as the center, and I've left a long tail on that to give myself a little bit of room if I want to do something with that later. So I've got the second signature here ready to go, and I'm going to run through with you the technique that I use to put signatures in. Everybody does it differently. At the end of the day, as long as you get it in and it's secure, you can be happy with that. While I was off, I did end up pulling all my calico off again, so you'll see I ripped the paper a little bit because I forgot to do my sewing. And you really need to do, if you're going to do some sewing around the edge like I've done here, you really need to do that before you put your calico on. So I've done a bit of sewing around the edge. I don't know, some people do it, some people don't. I kind of like it, and I like leaving all these little, look at the glue on my fingers, I like leaving all the little ratty ends and stuff. So let's get down to the business of putting this signature in this little flip book. So the first thing I like to do, and I'm going to use a red pen, I would normally just use a pencil, but I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. So what I do is, because I'm going to cut this bit off, because it's a tag journal, I measure the spine area, so from that point to that point. So what we're looking at there is approximately 6.5 inches. So I'm just going to move that down a bit and round it to the 3. So I mark it at the 3, and then I go an inch in either side. So we've got an inch there and an inch there. So you can see those red lines that I've drawn there. And then I get my signature and I put it, make sure the bottom is lined up, and I line that up like that. Actually, I meant to say I open it up, and then I line that up with the bottom there, like so, and I mark where the red dots are. There, there, and there. And before you go ahead and punch any holes or anything, go through and make sure all your pages are in line, all your pages are where you want them to be. I wanted some of mine staggered, so I've staggered them in there like I did here. You can see in this signature I've got some down low, some are up a bit higher, and things like that. So make sure they're all where you want them to be. And I use these big clips, but you could use bulldog clips, you could use clothes pegs, anything that's going to hold everything in place. Now the next thing I use this, it's a waxed linen thread, which I just got off eBay, but you can use embroidery thread, you can use ribbon, cotton is probably a bit thin. If it's your first go and you're not fussed, you could even use a piece of wool, you know, whatever gets you through, but just so long as you can hold them all together. And to make sure you've got enough, a rule of thumb is like 3 lengths. I like to do 4 so that I've got the little bit of the extra tail, so if I want to hang some charms or something like that off, I've got a bit of scope there. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and cut that off. And because my grip's not that fabulous, I like to have a pair of pliers on hand so that I can get it to, you know, grip on. So get my needle threaded up, and what I like to use here is a leather needle because it's got a nice point on it and it goes through all the paper and fabrics, whatever you like. It's pretty sharp and it doesn't create too thick a hole. So that's what I like to use, but again, use what you've got. So now we open. Now make sure your book's up the way, the right way, and you put your signature in. Make sure that the bottom is lined up where you want it to be, and open that guy up. Now hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I've got this little pokey tool, but you could use a pin, whatever you've got to make the hole, and I'm lining that up with one of the red dots that I made, and I'm just poking it through. And you can see, because I lined it up on the outside, it lines up with my red dot there. I'm just going to leave that in place for a second while I get my needle ready. And then I kind of hold everything together, pull that guy out, and just put the needle straight through. So, like I said, my grip is not fabulous. I'm trying not to get my head in the shot so that you can see, and I just grab a hold of that and yank it through. So that's one hole done. Now we've got to get through that next hole. So again, get my pokey tool. I've got my next red dot there, line it up and poke it through. Leave that in place while I get myself organised here. And I've got my needle at the ready, so I just pull that out without moving everything too much. I put the needle through. Now this stitch that I'm doing, I learnt off the Paper Outpost. She is also a junk journalist on YouTube. She's got some great videos. So this is a pamphlet stitch. So I'll bring that through, and now we've got to go down to that bottom red dot. So again, got my pokey tool, got everything lined up, and make sure it's all good to go, and poke that guy through, and again lines up with my red mark on the outside there, so perfect. Get my needle ready, because the idea is you don't want to be moving these pages too much. It just makes hard work to get your needle through the paper. I mean, it can be done, but taking a little bit of extra time lining everything up helps, and just makes it just a little bit smoother, because really this is the trickiest part of getting this guy together. Alright, so we've got that, we've gone through all the holes, we're good to go. Now the trick is we've got to go back through that first hole, and try not to split your yarn or whatever you're using, whatever string you're using. Get through, just do the best you can. I just trying to line that up. As I said, this is probably the trickiest part of the whole process. Now when you get to this side, you want to make sure you've got a piece of thread on either side of that main string that's going down the center. Let me get this through and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so you've got this main string that came from top to bottom, and then we're back up through the middle there, and you want the thread on either side. Just let me help that hand out a little bit. And I like to pull it firmly but not too tight, because you don't want to rip the thread. The fabric will stop it from doing that to a certain extent, but you don't want to go yanking like crazy and pulling the thread through all the work that you've done to get it to this point. So give it a little tug, and let's get this guy tied up. I'll just take that needle off so I don't stab myself with it. So that's one knot. The thing I like about the wax yarn is it grabs onto itself, so you can see that even though I've only done one knot there, that's actually holding already, and that's the wax on the yarn. It just gives it a lot of grip. Alright, so let's get that second knot in. There we go, 2 knots in, and now we can take our paper clips off and have a look at our handiwork. There we go. So this is what you should end up with, and I'm really hoping that some of you guys have a go at this guy at making this. So this is the front, and then we flip through to our signature. So we've put all our beautiful paper in there ready to do our embellishing and decorating, and if this video goes well, I'll come back and do that with you. So that's all our pages in there. Got that all ready to go, and that's the back page that we did, if you remember. And then you flip it over, and on this side we've got, that's some of my coffee dyed paper with the stencil on the top. Some pretty paper there, and I will list all the people that I have bought paper from off Etsy in my description box, so that you can go and have a look. If you want to know specifically something that I've used, just ask me and I'll find out who I bought it off, and I should have that all marked, but you know what, I haven't. Yeah, so I ended up sticking that one in there, another piece of my coffee paper, a journal ledger. This is very thin, this one, nice paper, very thin embroidery paper. I had to ditch my little poetry paper because it was so thin that it was actually tearing, but I would have liked to have used that, but I might use that when I'm decorating, so I'm keeping that. And then I just put that guy in the middle there. So yep, and that's the back of those pages, and then you flip over and you're back to the beginning. So as I go along and decorate this, I'll be trimming those corners off so it looks like a complete tag. Oh, I've got a bit lifted up there, I need to glue that little bit down. But as I say, I'll be back to do that with you, and I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I haven't waffled on too much, but I'm sure that it's one of those things, you know, that as you do it, you get better at it, and I'm sure that I will as well. But yeah, I hope you guys have a go at this. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I've enjoyed making it. I am going to go ahead now because I've got this other one that I was making that I showed you as my demo, and I need to put my signatures in this guy. So I'm going to go off and do that now, so that I've got them both at the same stage. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you so much, Leslie, for giving me the inspiration to do this, and I hope that a few of you make it and let me know. Thanks. Bye.